How you doing? Hey, Rosa. How you doing, Rosario?
Second. Hi,
All right.
Professor. As
How you
well.
doing?
Hi,
Okay. How are you?
very good. How about you?
Hanging in there.
Same here.
All right.
Hi, Professor. Good
How
evening.
you doing? Okay, wait a little bit, and when we get a few more people, we're going to start. Aisha?
Yes, Professor, I'm here. Hi.
Aisha, were you in my economics class?
No.
Okay, somebody else. Okay. All right. Priya. All right. Okay. So tonight, what we're going to do, we're going to basically go over the homework. And I'm going to, we're going to go over it, how to do it. It's going to be like not a long class, but we'll see what happens. Um, and once we do that, we you have an idea of how the homework is done, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Hi, Professor. I have a question.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. The calculator you suggested BA2 plus professional
I'm
looks
sorry.
pretty. The calculator which you suggested for to
Uh-huh.
us to buy, this looks pretty, like weird to me because there's so many things. So, like you will guide us how we gonna use this one.
100%.
Thank you.
All right.
Professor, are we doing chapter 2 next week then?
Um, uh, Next week, we're going to be go over the home. We'll start, yeah, with some of it. Because chapter 2 covers the balance sheets and stuff like that. So we're but in time, Michelle, we can't move too fast, but we're gonna get it done. Why are you asking me that, Michelle? Did you start on chapter 2 already?
Oh yeah, I just thought we were doing like a chapter a week type of thing. I wasn't sure, so I just.
No, it depends on how we're moving. Because some things, some of us will get things faster than others, so we just can't like move too fast.
I think there were like 30 formulas in chapter 2, so it was a little
Huh?
lengthy. There were like 30 formulas in the second chapter.
Oh, did you see the formula sheet? I mean, there's a lot of things going on there. But we're not going to cover all of that because you know how I'm going to give you what you need to get by and to do what you need to do. Okay?
Got you. Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. So let's start. Um, we're done with chapter 1 as far as the lecture's concerned. Now, I know, David, hold on. We're going to assign the homework and the quiz for chapter 1 because they pretty much go hand in hand, right? So when you're doing the hold on, let me close the door. When you're doing the homework, right? What happens is you're going to get 2 tries to do the homework. When you're doing the quiz, you only get 1. So quiz scores and homework scores tend to vary, right? I've adjusted, I'm going to put up a new syllabus where I incorporated the quiz, and the quiz is 15 and the homeworks is 15, and then the in between there, the class participation is inside, built in there, right? As I said before, if anybody that had my class before know how I operate. The attendance is good, so a 78, I'll round it up to an 80, an 83.84.6 or 7, I round it up to an 86. I don't like to fail anyone. I really don't like I hate doing that. And I don't like to use that word hate, but I don't like doing that. I want everybody to pass my class. I want everybody to feel that they've learned something, and I want everybody to feel accomplished, right? That's the way I teach my class. Anybody who's ever been in my class can tell you that. So, and we'll go over it and over it till everybody gets it. That's how I do it. And if you have it, you understand it better than some other people, more power to you. That's great. But not everybody learns at the same rate. Some of you are going to get this in no time, and some of you take a little time to get it. But you will get it, and you can question me as much as you want. Right? You're not bothering me, and don't feel that you're being a burden if you ask me something again and again. That's fine, because sometimes you need that again and again to get it. All right, so let me first go into the homework so we can see what we're talking about. Now, when you see a question like this on your exam, right? Which probably you might see something like this. Okay. Now, the question says what are the main advantages and disadvantages of organizing a firm as a C corporation, right? Select all the choices that apply. Okay. If you choose all of them, you're going to get partial credit. If you choose one, you get the wrong answer. It says it here, choices, right? So on the first homework assignment, right, we're going to go over it and take notes. So that way we all end up with a very high grade for the first homework assignment. All right. This is like almost like as people who've had me before, like a give me, right? A give me homework assignment. So these are the answers, right? For the first homework, right? There's no limit on the number as C corporation may have, thus allowing the corporation to raise substantial amount of capital. We talked about that before, right? If I own Apple shares and I expire as a human being, right? The Apple's not going to close down because of that, right? They'll keep going. And I told you that your liability is based on the amount of your investment, right? If you own Apple shares and the Apple's being sued, that's not your problem. However, if they have to make a payout and they have to sell some of the shares to make this payout, your investment that you've made will decrease by the amount. That's all you're liable for, whatever you have in your hand. So if you have 2 shares and they're worth $100 and the payout takes out $50 of that 100, so now you own only 50. But as far as the lawsuit itself, that's Apple's problem, not yours, right? So as I said, now the disadvantage is that the C corporation is subject to double taxation, right? Once again, a level again when received by owners in the form of a dividend. And the C corporation is more complicated and more expensive to set up than any other business entities, right? When you're setting a corporation, man, there's a lot involved. A lot involved when you're setting a corporation. So if I were a student in this class, I would look at these answers and I would keep them. So when I'm doing the homework that's going to be assigned tonight and that's going to be due on Tuesday, and with a small quiz, and the quiz has similar answers, similar questions. I believe they're about the same. So I would write these answers down. Hint. All right, tell me when I can move on. Okay. And also this is being recorded if you need to see it. Right? So when the S corporation, right, is not subject to corporate tax, you must pay profits on the C corporation must first pay taxes on all the profits that it makes, right? They pay corporate taxes. The S corporation can have no more than 100 shareholders all of whom must be U.S. citizen. The C corporation doesn't have those restrictions. So my advice again is to the lecture that we had. You can look over my recording and read the chapter. It's not very long. It's not very long. And as I said to you before in this class, there are some things that I'm going to teach you with a lecture, and there are things that we're going to delve right into the homework and the quiz. That's the best way to teach it. Because if I teach it to you in a lecture and I say, here, do the homework, you won't be able to do it. At least 99% of you. Okay? So here it says that you're a shareholder in the C corporation. The corporation earns 187 per share. Once it has paid the taxes, it would distribute the rest of the earnings to you as a dividend. The corporate tax is 38%, and the income, right, is 30%. So it gets taxed twice. Now, so know the concept here, because what happens is on my lab, right, a lot of people get caught up in this. They think that it's the same numbers that are being used. And on my lab, that does not happen. The numbers change. So that's why you need to know the concept. Here it's double taxation. Once you do 1.87 times 0.38, the answer you get for that, then you say the answer that you get from 1.87 times 0.38, then you do the taxation for the 30%. So it'll look something like this. First you do this one, right? The reason why they use the 1, right? You do the taxation because you're going to do it twice. So it's better if you know, if you say 1 minus 0.38. Because if you do 0.38 times 1.87, you're going to have to do it twice. First you get the answer, then you subtract it from the 1.87. So that's not what we want to know. We want to know what's left. So let me give you an example. If we go to Bloomingdale's to buy a coat, and they tell us that the coat is 30% off, and I want to know how much the coat costs, right? How much am I going to be paying? It's 30% off. The amount that I'm going to be paying, I'm going to say 70 times the amount of the coat. This is exactly what we're doing here. Right? If I want to know how much is left, how much am I going to be paying? If I want to know how much is off, then I say 30%, 38%. But if I want to know how much is off, I subtract 30 from 100. So 1 in converted into a decimal, right? 100 converted into a decimal is 1. Right? And then I do the same thing here. Right? If I want to know what's left over. So remember, right? If I want to know what's left over, right? How much is left over? I say 1 minus 0.38. Same thing with the coat at Bloomingdale's. If I want to know how much I'm going to be paying, I say 1 minus 0.30, and that's 70%. I say 70% of whatever the coat costs. Then I know how much the coat is going to cost me. And that's how it works. Same thing works here. Right? When we're getting to present value and future value, the concept is basically the same. Now, remember what I said. These numbers, let me give you an example. See how that changed? See how that changed again? That's how my lab is. But if you know the concept, so here would be 239 times 1 minus 0.35, which is 0.65 times 0.239. And here, the answer I get here will be 1 minus 0.28, which will be 0.72 times the answer I got here. So something like this. So the reason why they do that on my lab is to keep you from cheating and keep you guessing. My lab is a very, very, very good system, and it's very smart. Now, another thing that students tend to miss, it says right here, round to the nearest cent. Round nearest cent. So let's say the answer was 1.125. This would be 1.13. If this was 1.125, this becomes 1.13. Round to the nearest cent, right? The nearest cent, 12. So this would be 13 if that answer was that. Now, if the answer was 1.23, the answer stays 1.12, right? Rounding is very, very important in this class. It's between right answer and wrong answer. And rounding is very, very important when you get a job, right? And you're a trader or a trader's assistant. Because if this, in these formulas that we're using here, in the formulas that we're using here, we're using small numbers so that way we can keep control. When you are working for Goldman Sachs or Citigroup or JP Morgan, these numbers are in the millions, 300 million, 200 million, right? So this 0.125 or this 0.1003 that you decide not to put in, if you multiply 0.005 times 300 million, you realize how much money that the company is losing by you not doing your rounding, your due diligence. And then we're gonna pay, let's say we paid somebody less or more. Now we're embarrassed as a company to go and say that you owe us money because we made a mistake by being, I hate to use this word, by being negligent. I was gonna say lazy, but I'm not gonna use that word, by being negligent. So keep those things in mind in business, right? The embarrassment, because you, just like anything, that you do, you hear things like, oh, this company, they always make mistakes, or this cable company always charges more, and then they come back and they find out that they made a mistake. Those are embarrassing things. Bad news spread fast, right? And then you won't be at that job too long. God forbid you made that mistake 3 or 4 times in a week. And then a week later, compliance finds out that you overpaid someone or you underpaid someone. And now we're going to have to go into our P&L, which is our profit and loss, and pay money out of that we thought that we've made. So keep those things in mind. Same thing again. This is for the S corporation. So the S corporation is only taxed for personal tax. So you only do this once. Right? They don't get double taxation. They only you don't pay corporate tax on your dividend when you're in an S corporation. You only pay personal income tax. I can't stress this enough. I can't stress this enough. The financial manager most important job is to make the firm's investment decision. And again, it says select the best choice. So there's only one answer here, right? The firm's investment, the financial manager, the CEO, the guy who makes that last call. The guy who makes that last call, the guy who says, go with it, right? We want to make sure that we're making money for the company. We don't want to break even. We don't want to lose money. We want to make money. There are times that we do break even or we get into something that we just want a foothold in it as a business, right? I believe that Amazon got into the food business because somehow they feel that that's the next chapter, right? Because as I see, a lot of supermarkets are closing. So they believe that's the next chapter of a big thing, of a monopoly. So they wanted a foothold in it, so they bought Whole Foods. Right? Sometimes that happens with a big corporation, and they can afford to do it. They can afford to do it. Now, talk about why shareholders agree on the same goal for the financial manager, right? All of the decision, now it says choices, so which means that there are more than one. All the decision by the financial manager are made with the context of the overriding goal of financial management to maximize the wealth of the owners, the stockholders, right? And the stockholders have invested in the corporation, putting their money at risk to become the owners of the corporation. So what this is saying is that shareholders and financial managers should be on the same page. I can't be thinking one way as a shareholder and the financial manager's thinking in another way, right? We both have to be on the same page. That's why we have shareholders meetings. That's why we meet quarterly or annually, whatever it is, right? We get a statement and I'm not happy with it. So how do we get to be on the same page? That's what we're talking about here, right? One of the things that happen on Wall Street a lot is that when you get a guy who's in charge, he wants to do his own thing, right? He's moving away from what we want to do. Once that happens, right, he'll be ousted soon. The board will get rid of him. I remember we had a CEO at Citibank, and we had a lot of investors that were from Saudi Arabia and United Arab countries. And this guy was looked upon and was very respected and all of that. And an article came out. This was during the 2008, 2009, during the housing boom. An article came out saying that Citibank was holding toxic commercial real estate. And our stock went from, the news kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And he eventually had to quit. They blamed him for it because he was the one that had the final say. Our stock went from 50 something dollars to $5. And it got so bad that we were taking off the Dow Jones Industrial Average because we were messing it up because our stock was in the single digit. So those are the kind of things that, yes. Someone had a question? Someone had something? Yes, Michelle? Michelle, did you say something?
Oh no.
Okay, I thought you had a question.
Someone wrote, not as bad as what happened to Lehman Brothers. Malik wrote.
That's right. That's right. Well, what happened there was the fact that the Fed didn't bail out Lehman. The Fed didn't bail out Lehman. And Citigroup had what they call a reverse split, meaning they gave you less stock shares than what you've had previously. Good point. Whoever wrote that down. Good point. I'd rather you say something than to write it because I really can't see what you're saying because I'm trying to teach. Yes, Sabrina.
Hi, Professor. I was just wondering, like, for example, if you're not sure about an answer for a question, can you skip that question, go to the next question, then come back, or you cannot do that?
I'm glad you said that. Now, this is some of these questions. Yes, you can go and come back, right? And let me give you an example. Hold on one second. I don't know if here. Did you see what I just did at this question help?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say here, for instance, help me solve this. It helps you solve it. You don't get that on the quiz, right?
Okay.
And then, good question there. And then you go view as an example. It gives it to you like this. And then you can keep going. Got it?
So you can go to help and view an example. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. You're doing the homework. But as we
But
get
you're not
a
gonna
little,
have this, you're not gonna have this option when you're doing the quiz, correct?
no,
Okay.
that's why you have to, that's why on the quiz, you only get one try. Yes.
It wouldn't affect the score you got on that particular question, right?
No, not at all, Ethan. No, not at all. Not at all.
In the quiz, can we go back and come to that question?
No, once the homework is done, the homework is locked. I believe the homework is locked. I'm not sure. I think you can. You can go back, but you don't have that kind of time to log in and go back. So that's why it's good to take notes.
During that,
And
we're asking during the quiz. During the quiz, if
No,
we don't know
during
a
the
question,
quiz,
can we
yes,
skip
during
it?
the quiz.
Can we
no,
skip it
I
and
don't
come
think
back to it or no?
no.
So we have to stay on it until we answer and just move on afterwards.
Yeah. And also keep in mind that what happens is this, you take notes, because basically a lot of what's on here on the homework is also on the quiz. We're going to see that. I'll show you that in a minute.
Is the midterm like this too? The same thing? Same concept?
Yeah, no, you can't. There's no help on the midterm.
No, I know
The
that. I'm talking about
midterm
the
is-
same concept as the homework, like the way that the homework is
Absolutely,
question.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, absolutely. So, one of the things that happened, and I gave the example of when I was on Wall Street. Maybe it's this class I was talking to. When we used to stay late for dinner, when we were working long hours, right? People used to order food and used to go crazy. So one of the things we used to do, and we had to put a limit on it, right? When you're not paying for a dinner, you tend to order more. So this is what this is saying, right? When a CEO is spending the hard-earned shareholders' money and putting his interests ahead of that, it tends to defeat the purpose. Because I'm going to give you guys a little bit of advice. Hold on one second. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of advice. When you work for a company, one of the things, oh, wait, 1 second. Give me 1 second. Hold on. One of the things that you always have to remember, act as if it's your money that's being spent, and you'll always be ahead of the game. Right? Act like it's your money. Don't ever let a manager hear you say, it ain't my money, I don't care. Right? Always act like it's your money. And when you do act like it's your money, you'll be very careful in mistakes and how things happen. That's one of the things to always remember when you're working for a firm. Act like it's your money. When you have a CEO, as I explained to you, whose incentives are opposite of shareholders, there's a serious problem there. And then in the old days, what used to happen is a CEO at times used to get into a deal, which is a transaction, right? And he knows that it was a bad transaction. However, he still got in it because he knows right now, at the present time, that they won't uncover or discover that the deal that he did was toxic, was bad. So he got his bonus, his $30 million, $40 million bonus. And then come to find out that the deal that he did was a disaster, was toxic. So the companies got smart. So what they do now, they tie his salary to the stock performance, right? They tie his salary to the stock performance. So which means that he cannot redeem those shares for 5 years. So if this deal was bad, basically it'll come up. He'll get his base salary, his contract, whatever it is. But if what he had signed off on, he has like 5-year wait. Yeah, there's a 5-year wait before he gets that money. Okay? Primary market, right? It's the first market when you have an IPO that comes out. After that, when the shares are just issued, when shares are issued, we used to do IPOs, when shares are issued, and then on the second day or third day, they go into the secondary market, which is like, NASDAQ, wherever it is, these secondary markets. But the initial is the primary, right? We did Domino Pizza, I think, one of those things. They brought a lot of pizza to the bank. One time we did Vonage, and that was a disaster. They were thinking that Vonage was going to be a hit. And those guys claimed that whatever shares we didn't sell of Vonage during the IPO, that they would buy back. And they went back and forth with that before they did something. They came up to a deal, but Vonage was a disaster. That never took off. Now, I threw this in because I hope a lot of people don't understand about what an auction is and how they work. Okay? When somebody is selling something, they are asking, right? That's what they're asking for their product. If I have a painting in my hand, I'm asking $5 million for it. The guys who want to buy it are bidding for it. All right? The auctioneer is asking. The bidders are buying. The difference between the asking and the bid price is what the investors lose, and this difference goes in what they call the transaction cost. When you see those things at Sotheby's and all that, right? They make money both ways, right? First they sell the product, they make a profit from there, and then when the product settles, there's a difference that happens, and then they get that difference. So remember, in an auction, the person who is selling the product is asking, right? That's his asking price. The person who is bidding is buying. Got it? Hello?
Got it, Professor.
Yeah, I got
All
it.
right. Good.
Yes, Professor.
Good. Good. All right. Okay. All right. Now, let me show you. Let's do the quiz. Let's do the quiz. Let's look at the quiz. Hold on 1 second. Let me just get onto the quiz. And someone said something? All right, hold on. Let me get onto the quiz. Now I'm going to show you something with the quiz. No, hold on. Now, when you take the midterm or the final, it will look something like this, right? So let's do this one answer and then the other ones we'll go over. It says right here, what is the most important type of decision the financial manager must make? What did I say?
Investment decision.
Investments.
That's how it's going to look. Okay? All right. So let's move on. Now, I can't see that. Talk to me. So we have drop downs here. Let's do a couple and then you guys will take it from there. I told you to write it down.
S corporation.
Okay? Next.
C
C
corporation.
corporation.
Next.
S corporation.
Next one.
C.
corporation.
Good. Right here. Use your phone, because if you don't have the calculator. Remember what I said. 1 minus. I
Point
can't see that.
point
What'd
81.
you say?
0.81.
0.81?
I think that's what I got.
0.81?
Yeah, I think it's 0.81.
Good job. Get the idea?
Yes.
Would you be able to go back to the last question, to question 2, please?
Right here? Sure.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Now keep in mind that when you get your, oh no, it should be the same. It should be the same. The numbers are going to change in the other problems. Now, when you do the quiz, if you notice, you have 90 minutes to complete 10 questions. Now, when we do the midterm, you have 2 hours to complete. I'm trying to decide if it's 30 or 25 questions. I'll say 25. But the questions are a little bit more challenging than a lot more challenging than these. But you're going to know how to do them. And I suggest everyone to get that calculator, that I asked you to get. That way, when we are doing our calculations, we come up with the correct answer and the rounding is good. See, if I was grading the paper, manually, right, and you answered 1.27 instead of 1.26, and you put 126.8, right? I know that you are close to the answer. It is 1.27. Then I would mark you right. But I'm not marking these papers. These papers are being automatically marked by my lab. Yes.
So in the same case with the homework here, we can actually go back to the other questions if we need to.
Not if you get it wrong. Once you submit the answer, that's it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to give you an example of something. I'm going to show you. Let's say I did this, I did that, and I did like this. And I said this. So my score is 0. Right?
But on homework you have
No, hold on. I'm just giving you an example. Hold on.
Sorry.
I'm just giving you an example of what happens when you put down the wrong question. Now, that was my first attempt. Okay? Now, I go again, and I do this, and I do that, and I do this. And I put check. So, try one more time. I think because I'm the teacher, that's why I won't do it. But what it would tell me, it would actually give me, yeah, because I'm the instructor. It would actually tell me that my answer is wrong, and then it will show me which ones are correct. It will show me which ones are correct. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Okay. Does anybody remember the answer here? I can't see that. Tell me. It says choices.
Yeah, it'll say
D&E.
Which one?
D&E.
D and E.
D&E. D&E.
Good. Good. I'm happy. We know what this is. Couple more, and then we will be good. Does anybody remember this one? What we do here?
I think it's 0.79. You do 1.76 minus 1 minus 40, which is 0.60. Then you take that answer and you times it by 0.75, and I got 0.79.
Who's speaking to me? Who is that? Alexis?
Yes.
Okay. Good. All right. So everybody has an idea of what to do, right? Hello?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Professor.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So, one thing I want to emphasize, right, for this class, right, I want to show you a couple of things. Just let me show you something, right? Let me show you something. And I don't want to scare anybody, but I'll give you an example. I'm going to move up just a little bit and show you how it works. Hold on. Preview. Right. And please don't get crazy when I show you this. Okay. Can everybody see this?
Yes.
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 You see this right here?
Yes.
All right. Now, when we're going to do these types of problems, when we get to homework 4, chapter 4, everybody in the class will be able to do this, right? You have a loan outstanding. It requires 7 annual payments of $3,000 each at the end of the next 7 years. Your bank has offered to allow you to skip making the next 6 payment in lieu of making one large payment at the end of the loan terms in 7 years. If the interest rate on the loan is 7%, what is the final payment will the bank require you to make so that it'll be indifferent to the 2 forms of payment, right? So when we're using the calculator, we're going to say n equals 7. Just giving you an example. N equals 7, which is number of payments, right? N equals number of periods. Y, which is the interest, is 7. So you put N, 7N, I, 7I, right? Payments in this situation is going to be 3,000, right? And then you're going to compute for the present value, right? Once you do that, you can do it 2 ways. We do the payment, we get the present value, and then that will be our answer. Now, don't get scared and saying, when we get the computer, when we get our financial calculator, this is how we're going to see it. This is how we're going to see it. If you have the calculator, you can see it's N, IY, present value, payment, and future value. Okay? That's how you're going to see it when we're using the calculator. Just stepping ahead because this class seems like it's a little, I think you guys are good. I can go a little bit, just show you how things are done. But that calculator is mandatory. This answer is what will go here, what your final payment will be, right? So the thing is, and we deal with absolute numbers unless I tell you otherwise. Unless I tell you otherwise. We're dealing with depreciation or something like that. We'll get there. But those are the kind of things, that's why we need this calculator. You know, they have the formula in Excel. You don't have that kind of time. You have to get the calculator. The calculator is very important. Right? When you're doing your exam If you don't have the calculator, you're going to fail. I had a young lady, a student who was in my class last semester, and I told her to get a calculator. She tells me hers is doing just fine. And she did she had all the answers right, but the ending of the answers, the rounding, was wrong. She had quite a few of them wrong. So she did not do well. So I'm just letting you know. All right. Give me 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Don't go. All right, do me a favor, look in your profile, see if you see the homework assignment.
I don't see it.
I don't see, Professor.
Is it on Blackboard or my son's lab?
No, it's on, I'm talking about on my lab.
I can't see anything.
Yeah.
I see it now.
I can't see that.
I see the homework and the quiz.
Yeah, you should see it.
Oh, it showed up now.
Now I
Oh,
can
now
see.
Now you see it?
yeah.
Aisha, log in, log back. You should see it now. Sabrina, I'm talking about my lab. Michelle, do you see it?
Yeah, it just came up.
Okay,
It's there, Professor.
okay, good. All right, so on that note, class dismissed, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. We will start with chapter 2, and that's it. And we'll go over the homework just a little bit because we've gone over it. This is the easy part, and we're good. All right?
And
you,
this is
See
due
you
on
guys.
Tuesday,
All
right?
right.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you, Professor.
Yes, Ashraf.
Professor, I
have a
have a question.
Yeah.
Professor.
Okay, one at a time. Go ahead.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Oh, that homework is due on Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Before class or like how?
No. All you have to do is do it. It's before you have a whole week. You have till
I'll do it. Don't
Wait.
worry. Thanks.
it's due on the 9th.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Okay. Good night.
Professor,
Yes.
so I am in where is that the part where you see the e-text? Is that where I go and click on assignments?
No, it's under. Good night, Zway. It's under homework and assignment.
Yeah, I don't know. It's nothing is showing up under homework. It says your content has been opened in a new browser. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. I don't know what you're doing. Log in and log back out.
I did that. All I'm seeing is all the tabs on the side, news, assignment, study plan, results, the e-text, but it doesn't show anything else.
No, you should
if I-
show the homework. If you look
Yeah,
under assignment manager.
if I look
Assignment?
under,
If you look under
yeah,
assignment to homework,
yeah, it doesn't show it. It's not coming up.
okay, I don't know why you having that issue.
Can I share my screen with you? Maybe you can take a look.
Okay, let me see it.
So let me see. What do I do?
Professor, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. The thing is that now, like, so we do. What I understand, we need to read the chapter thoroughly before doing all the homework and quiz, right?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's because there's a lot of theoretical stuff here, so that's why.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Okay, I'm trying. It says I don't think I have the option to share.
Okay, listen to me. Listen to me. Somehow I don't know what you're doing wrong. Okay. My lab has a helpline.
Okay.
Call them. Let me give you the number. No, it's not a number. You go in and it's a helpline and it's a chat room and they'll be able to help. Okay?
Okay, no problem. I'll do that.
All right.
Thank you,
Okay.
Professor. Have a good night.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Professor, I have a question.
Okay.
So we will get one quiz and one homework each week, right?
Right. The homework is usually on the first day to the next, and the quiz is usually on the weekend.
Okay. And both of them will be like 10 MCQs?
Yes, 10 execute. That's right.
So Professor, when we did the questions today, the questions in the quiz were like almost the same as that in the
That's
homework.
right. Right. Only the numbers are different.
So if
Right.
we do the homework and if the answers are correct, then there are greater chances that the answer will be correct in the quiz too, right?
Most of the time, yes. But
And
not always.
okay, so the questions in the midterm will be similar to the one in the quiz.
Yes. No surprises.
So they will also be MCQ'd like this, like we did in the class.
Same way. We're going to go over it and over it till you get it. Yes.
Okay, so that would be great. That would be easy.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You're very welcome. Ashraf, you had a question?